Hello and welcome to the BWIO show. Today we have Kendra Beasley and she's going to start off by telling us about herself.
Hi. Okay. My name is Kendra Beasley. I'm from Madison, Georgia, which is a super small town in Madison. It's very close to Athens. I went to my undergrad. I went to Valdosta State University, which is in South Georgia, and I just completed my master's in vocal performance from the University of Kentucky. So yes, we're a graduate. I'm a mezzo soprano. And I sing opera.
Yeah, you sing down, okay? You sing,
thank you.
okay?
Oh, thank you so much. It's a blessing.
It is.
Only the Lord.
So talented. I love it. So is there like a moment in your life when you just knew that opera was it?
So kind of, but not really. Like I knew that classical music was kind of it for me my junior year of high school when we sang like Vivaldi's Gloria, and I was like, wait, I kind of like this stuff. Like, I think I can sing this a little bit.
Right.
And my like choir teacher like gave me some spirituals, some Moses Hogan spirituals, and I started singing those and like a couple of art songs, and I was like, I mean, maybe I could do this. So I ended up just like on a whim, just applying to my undergrad. And I was like, well, if I get in, then I'll start singing. If I don't, I'll major in something else. And I got into the music program and here I am. I'm still here. So yeah.
That is such a cool story. That's kind of like my story a little bit. Like I was like the girl who was always in the choir room all the time. And my voice teacher was like, okay, look, I just give you some music because you're going to be here. So let's just sing.
Right. Absolutely.
That's amazing. Did you have like other opera singers that you looked up to, or did you just were you just kind of new to the art?
I was very much so new. I feel like I've kind of still been feeling newish until I kind of got into my master's degree. That's when I started listening a lot more to like other singers and getting more familiar with operas and things like that. Because when I was an undergrad, I was just trying to sing. and like, I was like, okay, how do you make me sound better? But Jessie Norman was always like a pretty big inspiration. I mean, saying that she's also from Georgia, and we also have like similar qualities. She was just always inspiring for me. And that's pretty much the only name that I really knew when I started off. Just kind of kept that.
Yeah, I think it's always like the one person, because for me it was Kathleen Battle. And it was good because not that we have similar voices or anything, it's just that her rep is kind of similar to mine. So
right.
You kind of find that person that works for you until it's time to learn more and grow.
Right. Whew. Yes. Learning.
It's so many people out here, so many opera singers. I was listening to the conversation with Lisette, and Russell Thomas was just talking, and Latonia were talking about being an opera nerd, and I'm just like, I got a long way to go.
I've not gotten there yet, because operas are long, first of all. Secondly, I feel like I've kind of been in this thing where I'm really trying to be acquainted with myself and my voice. And I feel like listening to too many people is going to make me want to imitate. And I've always been like, okay, I got to find my voice first before I go traveling. But I finally think I'm at the time where like I know what I sound like, so it's time for me to get to learning. So
right.
Yes.
I love that because girl, I'm not a Jessie Norman, but I love to listen to her.
Right. I mean, and like stylistically, you know, there's just so much about singing that like I think that I know like that I've forgotten about, and it's not just about like there's so many different styles of like opera, and like just singing your normal operatic tone isn't always what's best. And so like, I mean, not that like you can't sing operatically, but it's kind of like different styles like bel canto and like all these other things. And like, I just kind of, I don't know. I had a talk with my voice coach yesterday, so I'm on some new wave learning, I guess, right now.
Yes. I love it. They all be changing your mind sometimes. Like, okay, I didn't think about that.
Like, yes.
But it's
He
good.
was definitely like, you've got to listen to other people. I'm sending you a list of mezzo sopranos, all types. You've got to listen to these people. And I was like, okay,
Fine.
I'm gonna listen, I promise. Like, send them on, help me.
Right.
Yeah.
Girl, I love it. So you said you were getting ready for a recital. What kind of recital is this for your graduation?
Yes, it's my graduate recital. I don't know when it's going to be. It was
Oh,
supposed to be on May 12th, but now it's going to be sometime in the fall.
okay.
And yeah, I think it's going to be difficult to kind of get back into the swing of things, but
Yeah.
we got to do it. And so, yeah, then I'll probably end up just broadcasting it online and not having anyone at my recital because of safety purposes, because it doesn't seem like we're going to be out of this pandemic anytime soon.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think that's the safest bet.
Yeah, and I think you get a larger audience with that as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No one has to travel. It's so convenient. You can be at home,
Right.
just, I don't know, eating spaghetti or something. Like,
It could be a date night or whatever.
yeah, let me listen to Kendra's recital real quick.
Right. That's what's up. I love it.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next question. So on Instagram, we were just kind of talking about some of the unrealistic expectations that Black opera singers, especially Black women, have to face when they're singing opera. Can you tell me a little bit about your experiences with like unrealistic expectations?
Yes, I think I've had a lot of, which also I want to start by saying that I am in no way super into the business, so I can't really tell you what is definite or not, but just from my experience, there's always been kind of like just the Black philosophy in general that you have to work twice as hard as like your white counter person, and that's pretty much what I think about a lot, is how I'm constantly trying to work harder, and then sometimes I'm not really being seen as doing that, and I think that happens with a lot of Black singers just in general. And then it's always people asking for more from you instead of, but like I don't see that happening with a lot of other people who are not Black. So I've had like pretty interesting experiences with conductors who have kind of just been microaggressive, of course, and just like kind of like I've had like picky things about like intonation, which is always so interesting because, and that's definitely like, that's a Black voice thing where people want to like chew down on your intonation because your voice is colorful and you got overtones that maybe they've never heard before or experienced. So like that was probably one of the most stressful things for me, was like, I think I'm singing on the pitch. I'm not trying to be flat, but like, please stop. Like, please quit telling me like this. So that was like one of the biggest things that kind of hit me hard, was that like people were very particular about the sound of the voice, and colorful voices can sometimes throw people off, which is weird. And I think it's weird because a lot of times people just aren't accepting of the voice and like of everybody's unique voice. And then like there's always this ideal that you've got to be like the 10 famous Black singers that came before us. And it's like, I feel like all the time, like with every single generation, like every voice is kind of changing. Like you don't see any Leontine Prices, and you don't see many Jessies, and that's okay. You know, like other people who are paving the way for us who are currently singing are not singing like that. Like, I don't know, like, you know what I mean? It's just like there are different, Black voices are unique voices, and we don't all sound the same. And it kind of bothers me, and I know it bothers other people, that we're expected to be put into this box, because I know some singers who are not African American who are not put into that box who do sound similar to each other.
Right.
So that's always been frustrating. And then just like also this ideal as far as like physical looks go, with sizeism and colorism and things that you don't really see a lot of other people going through. Like for instance, like Jamie Barton has like really paved the way for like a lot of plus size mezzos like me. And I think she's great and she's very talented. And it's like, you know, like so am I.
Right.
And so like I don't like going to like lessons with my teacher and the first thing I'm being told is like, well, you know, big white girls can't do the same thing that or big black girls can't do the same thing that big white girls do. So it's,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's just kind of like, yeah, I totally get that, but like, why not? You know, like I've seen it happen before. It'd be different if I'd never seen it happen before,
Right.
but I know way too many people who look like me. Well, maybe not way too many, but I know quite a few people who look like me who are out there doing the thing. So
Right.
I think putting limits on what people can do, especially what Black people can do, it's not productive. And I think it makes us feel unworthy almost, and like we're not equal to people, which I think is a general thing for Black people in general.
Right.
I said that twice, but yeah. But no, I think it's very important when we have so many talented us's that we're celebrated, you know, by our teachers and by each other and by like other people. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I just want all of us to be heard because I know we all sound great. You know?
Exactly. I think that's the major point. Is like we're all different and we all have these different things that we can contribute to this art, which I think is the beauty of what opera is. I don't think there's any other style of music where you can have so many different types of voices and approaches.
Singing the same thing.
Exactly. And it's really frustrating when people put limits on what people can do, because I mean, just because your career didn't turn out the way that you planned it does not mean that it's going to be like that way for me.
Exactly.
So that's like the biggest issue, because it's like always people who saw a way, and they think that that's the only way.
Yes, it's always a bunch of projection. Like a lot of times when people start saying things, like I've definitely spoken to people who have careers and who have had successful careers, and I've never once felt like they've doubted any of my potential at all. And I can't say the same for people who have gone straight into teaching and not done a lot of performing.
Right.
It's just completely different. So, I mean, and I definitely appreciate the support from those who have been in a career and who do know things, because it makes me feel like I'm actually on the right track to doing things. But just to kind of like box up somebody and say, well, you do this and you have this and you have this, that's why you're not going to be successful. And it's very discouraging.
Yeah.
But, and you know, and I think all of us, like just the Black community in general, like we're tired of encouraging ourselves. Like we're tired of having to build a community of people who have also been told no, just so that we can try to tell each other yes. And it's like, well, we don't really know if it's going to be yes, but we're just going to support each other, which is why I love Black women in opera. But like, you know, like, I don't know. I feel like the platform should be there, but it shouldn't be there for the sake of we've been told no so much that this is how we have to support each other. Like we should all get supported the same. I hope that makes sense. Because
I understand what you're saying, because we're kind of, I guess if we're like running a race, we're trying to still put our shoes on, and we're constantly trying to help each other put our shoes on, and we can't even start running. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
We should be celebrating each other because we are running this race. We are getting what we need, and we are being in the places that we need to be because of our talent.
Exactly.
And our ambitions. And it's just, it can be a lot to, I mean, just from even like a spiritual space, to always carry the weight. And it's really an unbearable weight. But I guess, you know, it just, it just has to be done. And then
and it's rewarding when you're finally able to get there, but it's just the getting there doesn't take as long for some people. And that's just the whole thing about like when we're fighting for equality right now, and like we're actually fighting, and it's just like a lot of people don't have to fight.
Right.
And sometimes like when I'm like by myself or discussing this with my colleagues, I'm like, you know, wow, I'm really tired of fighting. I'm really tired of fighting for like common respect that everybody else is getting. People are getting compliments out of the wazoo, and the first thing I get told is that my intonation's off.
Right.
and it's not, and I have other people saying that it's not as well. So like, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, it's a mess.
Yeah, I think that's what everybody is coming up. That's what everybody who's speaking out right now is saying, that we have to take all this on the stage. It's like Janae Bridges was on the LA Opera thing. She was just talking about how do you tune out the noise, and they were all talking about the different ways that they take what they are doing, take what they're experiencing, and bring it on stage or not. But it's a lot to have to literally pick yourself up, pick up everybody around you, and then be on stage, because you know that a Black person being on stage is the weight of everybody, every
It
Black person.
is. And you just don't get the moment to like I feel like every time I've gone up stage, which has not been many, but the times that have gone on stage, I never think about how this is just a time where I can celebrate singing this and going through this journey and doing this. It's always like, I'm celebrating this, but I'm representing something, and I've got to make sure that I do well or better than the other people, only to get the same amount of respect
Right.
from the audience and from anybody else. And like, I don't think that the audience really sees a lot of mental work that goes on with Black singers, but like, it's a lot. Like it's a lot of things that go on in the process of learning music, and the acting and everything like that too. But then it's like, I think there's this idea in general, when you go out on stage, you're putting everything together and that's it. But that's not how we Black people function. It's like, we're putting everything together. That's not it though. Here's everything else we got to make sure we do.
Exactly.
And so, yeah.
It's really a lot. And even now, like, I was just thinking, like, for the platform that I'm doing, it's a lot right now, because you got to create content, be relevant, talk about what's going on, educate white people about racism. Then I got to still practice, because I have recitals and stuff I'm trying to do.
Yes.
Clean my house, eat food every day, go to bed at a reasonable time, and still have time to encourage other people, because I don't want people to give up on their dreams just because they're feeling inadequate. It's a lot.
It is a lot
to have to do.
It is a lot. I don't know about the cleaning thing, but everything else I was with you.
Girl, I be trying, honey.
My room looked a mess. So. Yes.
It's a lot that we take on stage, and I just don't. It's a lot that we have to take on stage. I wish I could be more optimistic, but girl.
Yeah. I just, one fine day, this will not hopefully be the thing. But it is, I don't know, like it's hard, because like the shoes that I feel like they want us to fill are too big for us. And then when we can't do it, they just throw the shoes at somebody else. And opera is already kind of like a chew you up and spit you out kind of thing anyway.
Right.
As far as like general things. So just imagine being Black also in it. It's like scary, ridiculous. Just how much things are going, and it's also like, just like, it's the small things too sometimes, like the microaggressions, the typecasting, like things that you see other people not, like, I don't know how much I can repeat that, things you see other people not going through
at all.
Yeah.
At all. And it can be really, really frustrating. But then you love your art, and I feel like you're held hostage by that love for the art, and yes. They know that, and they hold it over your head, and that's unfair to me.
It is, and you're totally right about being held hostage, because, woof, I like, sometimes when I do this, I'm like, this is my assignment from God. This is a gift that God gave me. This is what I have to do, because I won't be as good at this as anything else. So, I mean, I'm not a jack of all trades. I am, this is, I feel like, my purpose in the world. And that is the only reason, with all of the contemplation of like, wow, is this something I really should be doing? Like, I feel like I'm just having so many adversities and things. And it's like, no, there's a reason for it. There's a reason for the season. And here I am trying to trying to do it. So
to keep living out that reason, you know.
yeah, it's hard though. It's hard sometimes.
It really is. It really is. And I just don't want anybody. I mean, I got real Southern. I don't want nobody to have to keep going through that. You know what I'm saying?
I'm from Georgia.
Right.
I know the South.
I just don't want nobody to keep having to do the same thing. To just imagine, like, Leontine Price. I mean, you could start with Marian Anderson having to clean her clothes on the outside in the alley. Leontine Price talking about in Ebony magazine how much backlash she got from audiences for doing Cleopatra and opening up the Lincoln's Inn or whatever. I mean, it's just like, should nobody have to go through that? But
no, but yeah, I mean, they're being celebrated now. And that's also one of the things that I think about, is that I don't want the journey that I'm going on now to be celebrated after I'm gone or after I'm not doing this. Like I want us to all be able to look up to each other while we're doing this, and not like, oh, she used to do this, she used to do that. And I feel like that's a lot of the things too, is that we don't really get the representation that we deserve until after we've already done it, and after they realize, when many other people are trying to do the same thing, that it's not as good as the way that we've presented it. And then it's like, oh, wait, they actually did a great job.
Right. That was actually
they deserve all the praise. Right. They deserve all the praise.
It's like they treat Martin Luther King the same way. Y'all hated him. What are y'all talking about?
Listen, if I see one of those memes one more time about I'm tired.
It's so much, because we already know how y'all treated these people. It's in the books. It's just facts.
Yes.
But
absolutely.
But now that it's like acceptable to understand their greatness, now they can celebrate their greatness. We already been known.
We knew. We are. It is in our blood to know.
Right.
It's our ancestors who are like calling us and being like, nah, y'all need to know this.
Let me tell you this.
Yes.
So I guess I just asked, what healing do you believe needs to take place to create some type of real change?
I feel like kind of just like totally, truly being equal and expecting equal things from everyone should be honestly the bare minimum for respect anywhere. But, and also like more representation of everybody, all shapes, all sizes, all colors, because I think one of the most discouraging things has been not seeing too many emerging artists come out like every year. You know what I mean? Like you see the same, I don't know, like 10 people on the roster at the Met, and they're pretty much there until the end of their career. And, it's like, let's see more new people. Let's see more of us. And like, let's not just see more of us when you're doing Porgy and Bess. Like, let's see more of us always. Or like when you're doing like Aida or something that calls for like people of color. Like, why is that the thing? Like, Kathleen wasn't singing all of that. Jessie wasn't really singing all of that. You know what I mean? Like, right. Why are we expected to sing the extra Black stuff or the extra people of color stuff instead of just being able to sing what we're able to?
Exactly.
Because also then there's like this preconceived notion of like, well, she's Black and she's singing this, therefore she should be able to sing all of this big rap or like all of this coloratura rap. And it's like, not every voice works like that, Mm-hmm. And so I think just kind of getting rid of this bubble of, or like this, you're rapping, just putting us all in a box and locking the box until you need us.
Right.
That should go away. That should, yeah. And then I think we'll be finally able to, do things.
Exactly. It's like artists, especially, like, they just see what works that one time, and it's like, oh, this worked that one time, so let's keep on doing it the same exact way every single time.
Yeah, I know too many people who have had like singing, like operatic careers that have only been them singing Porgy and Bess overseas. And I didn't realize that until I did my first Porgy and Bess, that people like do that. And a lot of times it's not for like specific solos. Like sometimes it's just chorus stuff. And that's like great because Porgy and Bess has a great like community for the chorus stuff. But like it's just that's a box. Like that is this is all you can do box. And like I think the thing about being an artist is being able to create things differently, and you can't really like make things different when you're singing the same thing all the time.
All the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what I think. I hope I answered the question. I kind of like just started ranting, so.
No, I feel like you answered the question because, I mean, I feel like you say healing has to take place. And if you don't see, I mean, it's basically like seeing our humanity. Like,
yes.
It's like baseline humanity. And people, especially people in high positions, just don't understand the reality of our humanity. It just doesn't cross their mind that Black people have lives, and there's fullness in that.
Yes. Yes. I feel like sometimes I'm like sitting and I'm thinking and I'm like, how do people see me? Like, what do they think about me? And not in a sense of like, how do they feel about me, but like, what exactly do they think goes on in my head and in my space and my spirit? Like, what do they think goes on in here? And what do they think goes on in the Black mind? Like, it's right. The same as everybody else. Like, we're all equal, but I feel like there's always this idea that we're like somehow maybe not less human, but somehow different acting. And it's so weird. Like, I'm just like everybody else. I put my clothes on the same way. So.
Exactly. You summed it up very nice. What do they think goes on up here?
Because I'm like, I don't know. Yeah, I just don't know what they think. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm confused.
Good luck to them, I guess.
Yes.
Because we're taking them out. We're going to have to do something. People, you're not safe if you're going to keep being racist. You're just not safe no more. And that's what I'm hoping for change.
Yes, and I'm very excited that, I mean, honestly, like, as unfortunate as this pandemic is, it's opening people's eyes because people don't have things to do right now. So the only thing they can do is look at Twitter and look at Facebook and Instagram and the news and realize that this, like, the amount of people who are currently shook about the things that are happening now, that have been happening for like over 400 years, like, it's like, what were you like?
What were you doing this whole time? We was talking.
Like, did you not see? It's like, and it's so unfortunate, but I feel like tragedies like this happen like almost every summer. Mm-hmm. And like nobody notices. Like, right. It's a week thing on social media, and then all of a sudden it disappears. And this is honestly only different because of the pandemic, which I feel like is a blessing in disguise because now we out here.
Yeah, now people have to pay attention.
Yeah, and you can't turn your backs on that. The door is open and it's not closing anytime soon. Right. We won't let it. I mean, no. This is our only opportunity
right.
for y'all to see us. So right. Please see us.
It's so many stories that have been coming up about police brutality, right? Like clear racism, people's cases who are not fully investigated because they were Black and they died. It's so many things that are coming out right now, and it's like, what were we like? What were y'all doing? What do you think this is?
Right. And I don't know if people just desensitized themselves while these things were going on, but like, you know, these things that people are seeing that they're recording have been recorded before. And like, you know, it's just, I don't know. I feel for the people who are currently getting justice, but I also think about those who are not being seen because of the media as well. And then I just think about how like, they're not getting their stories told. Right. And then also there's still like people not listening to them, just like these other people wouldn't have been listened to without the pandemic. I don't know. hope that justice is served, people see us, and people continue to leave the door open, or
Right.
we'll kick it down again.
I mean, we just need to do a whole new house, but that's neither here nor there.
That's true. That's true.
So,
Absolutely.
okay. What are your like hopes and dreams for your career?
You know, I feel like I'm not like, I don't like being too like, I have goals, but I don't want to make them like huge, you know what I mean? The only goal I have is to be able to sing at least one opera house in each state. That's all. It doesn't matter what opera house it is.
Okay.
I just want to get out there because like it's not, I feel like, I don't know, I just want to be seen, but not only do I want to be seen, I want someone else to see themselves in me. You know what I mean? Like, I want to inspire people to do what people told them not to do, or do what people told them they can't do. Because I feel like, hopefully, by me fighting, and have been fighting for a very long time, that some little Black girl out there will not have to do it. And you know, I know that you feel the same way because Black women in opera. But yeah, I mean, the only thing that I want to do is just appear on as many stages as possible, but also like not feel like, you know, I'm only like, oh, I should only be at the Met or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, I just want to be seen and heard and allow other people like me to see and hear me. And that's it.
I love that. I love that. That's very beautiful.
Thank you. Oh, I'll try sometimes.
Oh, girl, you got it.
You know.
So, last question. If you could write an opera, what would it be about?
I feel like if I wrote an opera, I would want it to be about the Black experience, but in a celebratory way, not one that has so much to do about, I don't know, just raising awareness that Black people can be happy, you know, and that Black people do live a life of happiness, and that everything that we do doesn't always have to have a poor consequence. Like, you know, like things are going well in Porgy and Bess, and then all of a sudden, like, bad things happen. You know what I mean? Like, we can be good. We can be good. We can be happy. And, you know, for like, I don't know. And I do understand that a lot of things, like a lot of like movies and stuff, have to do with like something bad happening and there being a good turnaround for it. But, you know, I mean, a lot of like current operas that are centered around African Americans don't really have that big hope of positivity. And so I just want something that is good, positive, and good fun for us if I had to make an opera myself.
Something joyful.
Yes. Joyful. Exactly. Joyful.
I love that. I love that. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with me.
Yes. Thank you for having me.
Oh, girl, this
means a lot.
It was such a good time.
It was a good time.
So where can people find you?
My Instagram is at KFMezzo, Mezzo. And I mean, I have a Facebook as well. It's Kendra Faith Beasley. I don't know if how people use Facebook. I mean, I use Facebook, but you know, I don't know. Anyway, yes. My Facebook is Kendra Faith Beasley, and I don't use Twitter like that, so don't follow me. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much.
Yes, thank you for having me.